Hey, Knicks Nation, how you doing? This is Sincere from Sincere Knicks Fan 34. How are you doing? I'm hitting y'all up. Hey, we went against Miami. We lost. It was a close one. It was a grind out game. You know what I'm saying? And we really had a real chance of really winning that game. I'm going to get into why I believe we lost that game. But the reality is we didn't play as well as we could have. We didn't play as hard as we could have. And I think we didn't play as smart as we should have. All right, so that's all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? When it comes to the actual game itself, we out rebounded Miami 48-40. We had killers in numbers and offensive rebounds, 11-7. In assists, Miami outperformed us 29-23. In turnovers, 15 turnovers on the New York Knicks, 12 by Miami. Free throw percentage, free throws, the New York Knicks were 75% from the free throw line. Miami was 84.6% from the free throw line. 3-point percentage, the New York Knicks was 25%, while Miami was 40%. The thing is, yeah, we lost. It sucks. And I'm going to tell you why I believe we lost that game. I would say silly turnovers, especially in the fourth quarter, particularly in the fourth quarter. We had a couple of really bad turnovers. One was with Mikal Bridges. One was with Josh Hart. And they may not be counted as turnovers, but I'm going to call what I think was really hurtful to the team. Karl Anthony Towns. I'm going to call him out a little bit. I'm going to call him out a lot for this particular game. The New York Knicks, before he came on the floor, he was off the floor, and the New York Knicks was up by 7 points. We were up by 7 points. We was doing pretty well, and we were seeming to be in a place where we was able to fend off Miami. We were doing pretty well, and when he comes in, I'm sure he knowing that his role is to be that main scoring threat, he comes on in off the bench, and when he comes on in, the first few possessions, he literally just launches like 3-pointers, like just flinging them. In my opinion, just flinging them, just trying to be a flamethrower. The game is on the line, and the idea is there's like at least three possessions where he got the ball and it looked like he just had the ball in his hand and he just let it fly. And what happens is not only did he miss the shots, but because he missed the shots, two of them were without players on his team even under the basket, just launched them. And when that happened, Miami was able to get the rebound, push the ball in the opposite direction, and get either easy layups or get to the free throw line. To the point where the New York Knicks went from being 7 points ahead to then at one point being down by 12. You know what I'm saying? The idea is, I'm going to call this out. Karl Anthony Towns and Julius Randle, right? We've been talking about this trade for about 2 years. And I said before that I like the trade because I think that Karl Anthony Towns is a better fit. And I still believe that he is. But I got to put this out there just so we're on the same understanding. He's a better fit because his skill is shooting. He spreads the floor better. He passes the ball better. But this is where Karl Anthony Towns and Julius Randle are very similar. They both create unnecessary turnovers. Julius Randle, that patented spin into the double or triple team, that's his patented move. He even did it against us. There's Julius Randle. Karl Anthony Towns, he will create turnovers as well, but his turnovers are usually poor fouls. He does, I can't even say they're lazy fouls. They're just unnecessary fouls, right? He makes these possessions, he creates these possessions for our opposing teams with these silly fouls. And in this particular game, he's taking shots that I'm not saying he can't take them or that he can't make them, but he rushes them, or at least he seems to be rushing these shots, chucking these shots, flinging these shots. And when they miss, it creates these open opportunities for our opposition to get easier buckets. And in this case last night, that's what happened. The New York Knicks were doing pretty well, you know what I'm saying? And Karl-Anthony Towns, about 3 possessions, maybe even more, took shots that didn't make much sense. Like, he had time to set up a play, to create his own play, and instead he just, in my opinion, settled for these 3-point shots where nobody was in position to even try to rebound and maybe reset the play. And that was ridiculous. Overall, you know, like I said, like we can have the whole Julius Randle, Karl-Anthony Towns debate. They're both similar because they're both young, they're both extremely talented, right? They can create havoc on any team that is opposing them. They can score and shoot at will at times. And this is where the other similarity is as well, Julius Randle and Karl-Anthony Towns. The two of them, when they don't get the calls that they were looking for, it messes with their head. It messes with their head bad, right? Now, whether it's the referees, for Julius Randle, it may be the referees or another player may say something or do something. But typically with Randle, it was the idea when he wasn't getting the calls, he just couldn't handle it. And Karl-Anthony Towns is similar. So they're very similar as players in terms of talent. Their skill set's different. Randle is stronger. He's going to the basket and he can destroy opposing teams with his strength. You know what I'm saying? He's agile but his agility is incredible. But it's his strength that made him a dangerous player when he was with us. Both of them can hit threes. Karl-Anthony Towns hits threes better. He's a more skilled player. Whereas Randle is more gritty, more grimy, more physical. Not saying that Karl-Anthony Towns is not physical. He is. But he's not as physical as Julius Randle. But both of them have similar issues. Both of them have world-class talent. Both of them are all-stars. Both of them are people who should be in the All-NBA, at least in the discussion. There's a debate, right? And the idea is they allow themselves to get pulled out of themselves sometimes when they don't get the calls that they want, or they're too busy languishing with the referee because of a non-call, or they just didn't like the way that it was officiated a couple plays ago and they're still complaining, or they might still be laying on the floor, whatever the case may be. So the idea is, I still feel that Karl-Anthony Towns is still the better fit. I'm just saying that we having similar issues. You know what I'm saying? Like this past night with the Miami Heat, I mean, he was having a decent game, but his 3-point shots was horrible. I believe he was 1 of 7. 1 of 7 shots from the 3-point line. And as I said, at least 3 were just like, what were you thinking kind of shots? What were you thinking, right? And I think that this is one of those things where if Brunson was playing, he'd have been able to do, like, you know, come on now, let's calm that down. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, you could have backed people down, you could have been going to the basket. Instead, we're just chucking these things up with X amount of minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. We need you to do more than just this. So the idea is our New York Knicks had a great opportunity to win. And I'm not saying it's squarely on Cat because, hey, Shamet could have played better when it came to the offensive end, right? I felt that the ball should have been more in McBride's hands, Clarkson's hands, even Bridges' hands. I don't know why they kind of gotten away from them. You know what I'm saying? Karl-Anthony Towns, he still had a solid night. 22 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists. The numbers look good, but he took a lot of shots that threw not only himself out of rhythm, but threw the team out of rhythm. And that was a real problem. But the idea is our team, I'm expecting us to learn from the situation, know how to go and follow the hot hand or hot hands in this situation, you know, which was McBride, which was Bridges, which was even Jordan Clarkson when it came to putting the ball in the basket. Karl Anthony Towns did not have to take those shots, and he had to take the shots. He had to take those shots, just point blank. But I'm hoping it'll be one thing that we learn from. We seem to learn quickly from one game to the next, and I think that we'll continue to get better. But this is just my assessment. You know what I'm saying? We had opportunity to win the game. I want to be clear before I wrap this up. Karl Anthony Towns, I'm not saying that he's a lazy person. I'm not even saying that like the last few seconds of the game he didn't give full effort. I think he gave full effort, especially at the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? But the idea is like in a mass scramble, you take the best shots that's available. You know what I'm saying? I could have understood if he had to go and take quick shots with the last few seconds of a game. But those particular possessions that I was speaking of from the beginning were possessions that I felt were momentum breakers. They killed the momentum. They made the team be dismantled, and it did not allow the team to operate the way that it normally should. You know what I'm saying? So this is my take. I'm expecting this to be better, and I like the idea that we had the fight. I wish we would have had the win, but we have the fight, we have the grit, and we showed it against Miami before. So I'm not knocking Karl Anthony Towns, because Karl Anthony Towns is not a person I think that shrivels up or scrunches up in the big lights. Because if that was the case, he wouldn't have had the 39 points that he had in the previous game with Miami in MSG, where the lights are the brightest. You know what I'm saying? But these are some things that need to be worked on. So the same thing that Brunson at times forces some things, Karl Anthony Towns forced some things, and it led to a New York Knicks loss. So that's just something to think about. So with all that being said, those who have not already, please like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all following me through it all, this whole journey. Let's continue keeping this movement going. To my nephew, hey William, what's up? How you doing, bro? You all right? I hope you're still smiling. All right. All that being said, I will talk to y'all next time. Hey, let's get it. Talk to you later.